Welcome to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the most listened to daily Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
Miami's got the Dolphins, the greatest of all.
Come on, Dolphins fans. Time to fins up.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one. Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number one.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast on this Tuesday, August the 5th. I'm your host, Mike Oliva, joined by my co-host, Marissa Marino. Marissa, how are you doing tonight?
I am fabuloso. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, and we are joined by a very special guest, someone who is at Miami Dolphins training camp each and every day. So we got someone there who is on ground, can tell us what's going on and share his opinion. He is one of the hosts of the All Dolphins podcast and he also runs the Miami Dolphins on SI website, si.com/NFL/Dolphins, and also part of the Dolphins Collective with Doug, TD, and Omar, our good friend, Alain Poupart. Alain, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm not sure about if I go to the level of fabuloso, but I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. And let's get right into it with the Dolphins, and we're going to start at everyone's favorite position of quarterback. Now, I've had you on the show in the past, and you and me have talked about this ad nauseum. We see eye to eye on the starting quarterback. I don't want to talk about the starting quarterback. Everyone has their opinion. Everyone's made up their mind. It is what it is. Let's talk about the guys behind him this year: Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. From all the reports we read and hear from the various people on site, it's all been very positive with those two. What have you seen? And is it positive because they might be going up against a lackluster secondary, or is it positive because they're actually playing really good?
Well, first of all, I would tell you that I think some of the reports always tend to be on the overly rosy side.
Yes.
Maybe it's because I'm a grumpy old guy and I tend to be more tempered in my enthusiasm of what I'm seeing. I will tell you this: both Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers have been efficient more often than not. And you look at Quinn Ewers, I'll start with him. You look at Quinn Ewers and awful lot of Tua vibes in terms of playing style. And when he's operating well and the practice looks good, it looks an awful lot like Tua. Not saying he's the same level quarterback. I'm just saying in terms of the skill set, what he's doing. Zach Wilson clearly has the bigger arm and he can make some throws. And there have been throws he's made in training camp where I'm like, whoa, look at the touch. Not expecting that because that's not necessarily his scouting report. And I've been actually probably impressed by both of them performing at a level higher than what I would have expected coming into training camp. Both of them.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice to hear, because I know, like, last year and in years past, whenever we've talked or I've had on some people who are there every day, it's like Mike White and Skylar Thompson. It's like, this is rough. And this year, it's like, it's not rough. It's like, hey, these guys can actually play maybe. And God forbid, when and if that happens to the starter, we put someone in. Are they him? No. Are they still going to, it's still going to be a fight to win games with who's ever out there, which will be Zach Wilson first, obviously. But at least we have someone who might be competent at number 2 quarterback for once, which we haven't had in a long time.
Well, they haven't, and I'm going to go there, and some of the fans of my podcast or the viewers of my podcast don't like it when I say this. They haven't had it since Teddy Bridgewater, who actually was good, just couldn't stay healthy. But
Right.
If you look at his production, it was there. The play at quarterback this training camp compared to last training camp when we're talking about the backups, I mean, it's like noon compared to 4 a.m. when it couldn't be darker outside. I mean, it's like completely night and day. And as I sit here right now, I have some level of optimism that if something happens to Tua, it doesn't fall apart the way it did last year. And even adding the caveat that after Tua had the concussion against Buffalo, going into that Seattle game, the Dolphins were all saying all the right things about Skylar Thompson. to me, it was like, oh my Lord, I didn't like the way he looked in training camp at all. But the Dolphins have worked with him. He hadn't played in a game since 2022. So let's see how it goes. And it wasn't just the fact that he didn't perform well against Seattle, is the fact that he looked overwhelmed.
He looked lost in that game. Like he did not want to be on the field. He was caught in the headlights, like a deer in the headlights look, which is the scariest thing to see from any player on that field, because that is a rough sport, obviously, so dangerous. But from your quarterback, he just looked like he couldn't move.
He looked like he was over his skis, like he was.
Yeah.
It was like a rookie, like playing, like immediately thrown to the wolves, like right away when he had been with the team for 3 years. So that was disheartening. Now, are there practices or some throws from Zach Wilson that leave you scratching your head? Sure. And he had a couple. He had a practice where he had like 2 or 3 of those where we're like, oh boy, here we go. But overall, again, it's been a lot more good than it's been bad. Quinn Ewers has had his days. And then today, for example, Zach Wilson is the best quarterback out there. Tua's had 2 less than efficient practices. Today was by far his worst. But for the most part, again, the quarterback play. And I know you mentioned the secondary playing a role in that. Sure. But I don't think the secondary has been the catastrophe that maybe some are portraying it or want to portray it.
Well, that's good news, and we will get into that. But talking about these quarterbacks, what they really need is a great offensive line, or at least a better offensive line that they've had in years past. You have the youngster and Patrick Paul and Jonah Savaiinaia. How have they looked to you? And, on top of that, talking a little bit about the depth, that's been a concern of mine, and I've heard it's a concern of others. How concerned are you with that backup offensive line at this moment?
This guy right here, also the depth of the offensive line. I've said before, I think that might be the biggest positional concern, even above and beyond cornerback. Even though I understand they don't have a top end cornerback, although Storm Duck, kid's looking really, really good. And today there were 3 balls thrown his way. I'm sidestepping the question, but I'll get right back to it. I promise. He had 3 passes thrown in his direction, and he could not have been more on top of the receiver every time. One of them was Jalen Waddle in the end zone. I mean, you want to talk? I mean, he was tarping the guy. It was like, oh, that was impressive. The offensive line. Let me preface it by saying training camp practices, there's only so much you can glean from it when it comes to the offensive line and the defensive line as well. When it's padded practices, you can add a little bit more, still not totally. Joint practices add something else. Preseason is almost on the same level as joint practices, and you guys have disappeared. Oh, and there you're coming back. And then the regular season obviously is a whole different animal. Having said all that, the starting offensive line looks solid. Savaiinaia and Patrick Paul have looked good. Patrick Paul's looked amazing in one-on-ones. I mean, he's putting people on their butts on a pretty regular basis, and he had like the highlight play where he's basically accompanying or leading the way for Jalen Waddle on a screen pass 30 yards downfield for a touchdown. But the depth is massively shaky. Andrew Meyer, who right now probably would be your top interior offensive lineman, is out with some sort of a welcome back, Mike. How are you? I don't know if it was you or me who faded out, but I lost you on that.
You, I think, because I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I'm here the whole time. So anyway, Andrew Meyer was out today. To me, he's been the best interior offensive lineman of a very, very marginal group. And in terms of swing tackle, Larry Borum's come on the last couple of days to perform better, but early on, it was not great. And it's a little bit uneasy to think what happens to this offensive line if injuries occur. And injuries always occur, because you mentioned, Marissa, that the offensive line hasn't been good for a while. I would tell you that they had a really good group in 2023. But then injuries happen. And you had Armstead miss some games. You had Robert Hunt miss some games. You had Connor Williams miss a lot of games. And this actually was the 1 year where Austin Jackson actually played most of the season.
I was going to say he was Mr. Reliable that year, and he played pretty much every snap. But last year that wasn't the case. We're already going into this year where we know he's going to be out 5 weeks. Hopefully he'll start game 1. But he has to stay healthy this season as well.
Yeah, I mean but you could say that throughout the roster. It's like, and there's a randomness to it. Some of the injuries are freaky. They have some guys who have been injured a lot, and if you want to use the term injury prone, okay. I mean, it's not like Jalen Phillips said. They was talking about how, in light of his scare at practice on Saturday, he doesn't like the idea that people had this narrative that he's injury prone. Well, if you have a really long list of injuries,
exactly. I mean, kind of is what it is. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Exactly. Me think you doth protest too much or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the saying goes.
Well, continuing on the offensive side of the ball, the Dolphins tight end room has kind of a different look. We know Johnny Smith is no longer with this team. What of any word can you give us on Darren Waller and when we're going to see participation from him? And also, are there any tight ends that are standing out to you so far in camp? I know Jalen Conyers is officially out, not going to be a part of this season. So what you got for us?
Well, I was hoping you'd tell me what the deal is with Darren Waller. I don't know. I can tell you there's a clip on social media of Drew Rosenhaus saying he's going to be ready for week 1 because I feel confident he's going to be ready for week 1. Something along those lines where I don't know if you saw it, Mike, but
I saw it. Yeah.
You tell me if I'm wrong, but
you're not. I already know what you're going to say.
That wasn't very convincing. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, you have to be on the practice field if you want to be ready for week 1, number 1. Number 2, Mike McDaniel stands up there and says he's in fantastic shape. So why isn't he on the field? He gave some answer like, we don't want to throw too much at him once. The guy's been in the league for like 10 years. You're not throwing too much at him at once. It's just very confusing what's going on there. I don't know. He might be ready for week 1. I got a feeling he's going to start the season on pup, if I had to guess.
And well, the other part of what McDaniel said was he needs to get in football shape.
Yeah, so he's not great.
Okay, what's football shape? Lifting weights? Because maybe he did some aerobic stuff in the offseason and all that. Well, what was the trade? June 30th, July 1st?
Something like that, yeah.
How much weight training does he need? I don't know. If you look at my physique, I don't do a whole lot of weight training, so I couldn't answer that question. But it just smells kind of fishy.
You don't think this is like another OBJ situation on our hands, do you?
I think it's exactly like that.
Well, I would not eliminate that entirely out of the conversation. I have, to quote Joe Philbin, I'm a little bit queasy about the whole situation.
That's right. Good quote from Philbin.
Joe Philbin. Oh, goodness.
To answer your previous question, the one guy who has stood out, and again, we can't judge tight ends purely by receptions because they have different roles. Tanner Connor's getting a lot of receptions, has a couple of drops, is not the end of the world. And I asked John Embry specifically about Tanner Connor on Monday when the assistant coaches were made available. And he's like, the guy's always been good in training camp. He's always had a fluke injury happen here or there. And I'm anxious to see him show you guys what he's made of. And as the other two, they're blocking. If you're going to be honest about it, they're blocking specialists. June Hill's already dropped a couple of passes. Pharaoh Brown has made a couple of plays in the passing game, but he himself saying I don't want to catch any passes. No worries. I want to be the best blocking tight end there is, which is refreshing. You generally don't hear that from a tight end. Yeah. But if Darren Waller, something happens and he's not on the field early on, is it the end of the world? No, for the passing game, because they can always go, more 2 backs and then throw passes to Achane or Madison or Jalen Wright or whatever, or that third wide receiver. But it's lacking a marquee guy, and I don't think you're going to see anybody put up the numbers Jonnu Smith put up last year.
I know we have to move on, but I just real quickly, what have you seen out of Hayden Ricci?
He's there.
He wears number 87.
Okay.
He's present and on time.
Moving on.
I'll be honest with you. I'd be surprised if he made the 53.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, there's nothing that jumps out at I haven't noticed him very much. I mean, I've looked at him and seen him, but I don't know.
I think that's a position too where once some other teams start to make roster cuts, they might be looking for tight ends there too. I got a feeling, as well as obviously in the secondary. Once some other guys from some other teams start to get let go, that wouldn't be shocked if they find someone to maybe slide in there.
Sorry, Mike. I was going to say that when they signed Chris Myrick on Monday, they worked out 4 other guys at the position, including Anthony Ferkser, who's been in the league for a few years, but doesn't have necessarily a big resume. Trey McKitty, who was a third round pick of the Chargers in 2021, who didn't last very long over there. And there's another one who was a veteran. I have my list somewhere. There it is right here. Hold on. Mitchell Wilcox, another necessarily big name. So yeah, they may be looking at the waiver wire come the end of August to see if they can pick up somebody.
Yeah. One position where they have a lot of talent, I think, is running back. And some new faces this year, obviously, with Alexander Madison. It sounds like he's had a good start to camp. And people forget, especially with the Vikings, he put up some pretty good numbers with the Vikings. Raiders, it's the Raiders. They were always because they're always losing, so they're not running the ball that much. They're always throwing from behind in the second half. So I don't know if he had the opportunities there, but it looks like he's still got something left in the tank. Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, though. Wright especially, who they traded a pick for in round 3 to get him. Ollie Gordon, a little bit later, so not so much of the expectations there this year, at least. How have they looked, those two young backs? Because behind HN, who we know is fantastic and great and everything, Madison, Ollie Gordon, Wright, has anyone sort of showed out?
Oh, but it's by far Madison. I mean, it's not even close. And I will tell you this. I know Jalen Wright came into camp with a lot of folks expecting this guy's going to blow up in his second year because he had that offseason clip where he's completely, massively, stupidly cut. And we know about his speed. The dude is not, has been, how can I put this very, very delicately? His performance in training camp has been massively underwhelming.
It's all Marissa's fault. She had him on the podcast. She jinxed him. I'm blaming Marissa.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it is my fault. But I've seen that. And you know what's interesting too is we had on a couple analytics guys like Warren Sharp and Ari Merev, and both of them were like, we're not high on Madison, like looking on paper and statistics, but going into camp, it sounds like he's having a heck of a camp so far.
He is. He's the one who's got the most explosiveness of all the backs outside of HN. I think Ollie Gordon's slowly getting into it a little bit, looking more and more impressive. And I can't believe I have to say this, but when I say this, I'm not making a prediction for the regular season because I got killed on my own podcast for doing that. For just saying that Jalen Wright right now, I'm not feeling it. And I'm talking about right now. I'm not saying that this is a precursor to what his regular season is going to look like. Right now, it's not impressive.
It's rough.
At all.
Yeah.
The secondary, obviously, that's been the talk of all camp. What's Miami going to do? Storm Duck, you said, has sort of looked pretty good so far in camp. That's great to hear. Second-year guy, one of those guys, undrafted. Everyone's rooting for. Got a great name. Jack
and we
Jones,
had him on the show.
That's right.
But you didn't jinx him.
Jinxed.
No
jinx on Storm Duck. Jack Jones signed. I would think if they had a game tomorrow that counted, those two would probably start with obviously Hilton in the slot.
We sure about that?
What's that?
We sure about that?
I don't look. I'm not sure about nothing with the secondary. Here's my question.
Go ahead.
Cam Smith. I know it's been bad. You don't have to tell me it's been bad. Has it been so bad that they would let him go at the end of August with final cuts bad? And I got a theory, but who would start if they did have a game tomorrow, I guess?
Well, no, I want to hear your theory first.
Here's my theory. There's guys out there like Samuel, Rasul Douglas. My thing is, and I know fans want them, and those guys aren't coming cheap because they want to get paid. I don't want either one of them because I think this team, in my opinion, is going to be a 7, 8, 9 win team this year. You pay either one of those guys or sign them both. Are they going to make this team a 10-win team or a 12-win team? No. So at that point, what are you paying for at the end of the day? It's like they made their bed with the secondary. This is their plan of attack. Play the kids. Let's see how it goes. Jack Jones, Mike Hilton, they probably got it reasonable, type of deals. That's fine. If there's someone else like that out there, it's fine. But I'm not paying $4 million a year for Rasul Douglas or $4 million a year for Samuel. I just rather go in with what we got. And I'm just wondering if who we got, Smith, is he going to make this team? And if it's not Jones and Duck, who's starting?
If you were to ask me if they play tomorrow, you're starting cornerbacks are Storm Duck and Kendall Sheffield.
Kendall Sheffield. Okay.
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 So Cam Smith, he's just when are we going to figure out what's going on with him?
If it ain't happened in year 3, it ain't going to happen.
No, and if you saw Mike McDaniel's response to the question about Cam Smith Sunday, I think
Sunday,
it was.
a little snarky.
Ooh, and for Mike McDaniel, that
Yeah.
might as well have been. He sucks. I want him out of my sight right now. I mean, that was
That was like I was talking about Ramsey. Like, I don't want to talk about him, pretty much. Yeah.
pretty much, yeah. My guess, I have said this to my fellow media scribes. That says it's going to be Cam Smith in a 7th round pick traded for a 6th round pick, something like that.
Perfect.
Right now, he's not, because if you go Kendall Sheffield, you go Storm Duck, Mike Hilton as a nickel, Jack Jones, possibly Cornell Armstrong. Jason Marshall Jr. is also ahead of him. Ethan Bonner's probably ahead of Cam Smith. I mean, it's very hard to find anybody. Ethan Robinson, the rookie free agent, is probably ahead of Cam Smith right now.
Yeah.
So I have a very hard time. And if you look, other than the bad look of cutting a 2nd round pick before his 3rd year, there's no financial really. It's $550,000 against the cap each of the next 2 seasons. That's nothing.
It's nothing.
And so I don't see them carrying. I would be very surprised if you be on the 53, barring turnaround.
And hold on real quick. Me and a few guys here on the site, we call him actually not Cam Smith. We call him Cam Igbenogany. That's behind the scenes, but I'll share it now at this point because that's what it is. Cam Igbenogany at this point. And now look, Noah left here and turned himself around. Noah went to Washington and he was a hell of a player last year. So hopefully for Cam, that might happen for him. I just don't think it's going to happen in Miami for him, though.
But the thing is, that's a harsh thing because they're different situations. Noah Benogany's issue was he just lacked instincts to play cornerback. With Cam Smith, it's entirely different. I go back to his rookie training camp. When training camp first started, I was like, oh, there's something there. That dude can play. Yeah. And then, as weird as it may sound, he got double moved in a practice, and it's been sliding downhill ever since. Not only with, at the time, with Vic Fangio wound up like deep into his doghouse, and then I don't know if he lost his confidence or what happened. And then you hear comments from the assistant coaches, Sam Madison, and then last year it was maybe Brian Duker, who were talking about not doing the things that a professional player can do, and that's different than what Noah's deal was. Noah was putting in the time, putting in the work. There's like tough instincts, and then didn't help that his 3rd game in the NFL. It's like Byron Jones gets hurt. Go ahead, Noah, go cover Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that didn't go well. I think we gave up like 55 that week. I think it was like really bad. Wasn't that the week we gave up a ton?
No. They lost like 31-28, I want to say.
Oh, that's right. That was the close one. That wasn't the game.
It's like you're going up against like one of the best route runners in the NFL when you're a rookie who's like doesn't have great instincts, and he got. I mean that wasn't right.
I do have to ask because we've had him on the podcast too, and I'm curious how we're doing. How's Fatu Melifonwu? Has he officially done even a practice yet?
Yeah, Sunday I think was his first.
How did he look there?
It was his first. I don't believe I don't recall. I'm trying to think today. Also, I don't believe he's done any team stuff. So
okay,
I couldn't even give you an answer.
Got it. Fair enough. Well, moving on to some draft picks. Miami's 1st round draft pick, Kenneth Grant, is expected to fill some pretty big shoes. We know with Calais Campbell and previously Christian Wilkins before him. How has he looked to you thus far? And do you think he is up to being a starter day one and, being asked that responsibility?
Well, he will be a starter day one, but I think when you mentioned filling the shoes of Calais Campbell and Christian Wilkins, my initial reaction is to be like, whoa, let's simmer down here, simmer down. It could happen. He's another one, like, it's early in camp. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who's going to look a lot better in regular season games, and he's going to look in practices. Having said all that, I'm waiting to really feel him in training camp because I haven't so far. In the least, I've been more impressed by a guy like Matt Dickerson, for example. Mm-hmm. Been more impressed by Matthew Butler, for example, the waiver wire pickup from the Raiders. I'm not feeling it yet. The joint practice with the Bears on Friday will be a different look for him. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of snaps in the preseason opener against the Bears on Sunday afternoon. Next week is 2 joint practices with or against the Lions. I never know what to say, if it's with or against.
It's with.
You go with? Okay.
I go with because they're working together.
Yeah.
That's very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
So harmonious over here at Dolphins Talk.
No, it's all this, right?
Yeah. That's it. There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
There they are. They're so fancy.
So there's more to come, but right now I don't know that he's flashed very much.
Well, one person who has stood out, and it's all I've been hearing about, and I'm waiting for him to get the orange jersey, is Willie Gay. Standout at linebacker from the reports that I've seen so far. How has he looked so far, in your opinion?
He's looked great, but I see you've joined the parade of the orange jersey.
I have.
Let me do my spiel about the orange jersey.
Okay, I'm ready.
There's symbolism involved there. They just don't give it to anybody just because they had a great practice the day before. Because if you'll notice, who gets the orange jersey? It's established players or returning players. Look who it's been. Tua, Achane, Sealer, Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips.
Waddle got it once.
Waddle got it once.
Didn't Storm Duck just get it recently?
Yes, Storm Duck got it. While returning players. And more often than not established. So I don't know if there's like an unwritten rule. And mind you, there's no criteria. So we can say he's making plays all over the place. It's no criteria. What Mike McDaniel told us one day was the orange jersey goes to the player who best exemplified in the previous practice what we were trying to accomplish that day. That's
which means I pick and no one knows my freaking logic behind it.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. That out of the way, Willie Gay Jr. has been making plays after plays after plays. Today, Tuesday, was the first day where he didn't have a play where he either got his hand on the ball or got to the quarterback. But here's the thing is, I don't want to use the word like surprise or revelation for this guy, because this is not a guy who doesn't have a resume. He was good with the Chiefs in his time there. Yeah, and it went south for him last year in New Orleans, partly because it was a really bad team, partly because of his role. And then he made the comment that like week 11, he wasn't getting a ton of playing time and he checked out, which you don't like to hear, but that's a different story. But he'll be part of a rotation at inside linebacker or off the ball linebacker, however you want to call it, with Jordan Brooks, who also has looked very good in camp, Tyrell Dotson Jr., and KJ Britt.
Yeah, that was going to be my question too, with what you've seen of KJ Britt, and then also Channing Tindall, a former 3rd-round pick. People had high hopes with that. Have either of them made? What kind of impact have they made on camp thus far? I
don't think Britt's been very noticeable. I mean, he's had plays here and there. Tindall's had easily his best training camp so far. He's still, to me, clearly number 5 on the depth chart at inside linebacker. But I came into training camp thinking roster spot. But now if the team were to be selected right now, I think he's played his way onto it.
He's a special teams guy. He's going to help them there for sure. That's where he excels at this point. Because I think if you're picked around 3, people have hopes he's going to be a guy who's on the field in some role. It just hasn't happened, but on that unit, he can help out a little bit there because of his speed and his athleticism. Safety. I want to circle back to secondary. We obviously know Minka's back. He's been great. And we got Patrick McMorris, John Saunders, Jordan Colbert, with Ashton Davis down and no word on when he might come back. Have any of those 3 looked like they're capable of being a number 3? I know we also have Elijah Campbell as well. I'm not a big fan of him at safety. I think he's more of a special teams guy, but he will be the 3rd safety as of right now if they had a game today. But any of those younger guys sort of make any plays that you're like, he might be someone?
What was that? I'm sorry?
Yeah, I mean, who out of that group you think of? Patrick McMorris, Saunders, and Jordan Colbert.
Jordan Colbert had a big practice in terms of playmaking, like back-to-back sacks, and they may have been involved in a turnover a couple of days ago. But on a consistent basis, John Saunders Jr. is the one who's been the most noticeable by far. I mean, that his coverage has been very, very good. And I was asking Ryan Slowick about him, and he said basically that's his history going back to college. Dude's always around the ball making plays. So he's been impressive. Doesn't look the part. He's kind of smallish, but he's around the ball and been making plays. Patrick McMorris has been very, very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Incognito a bit.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
so funny because when Holland signed with the Giants, who was the name they mentioned? Well, we got Patrick McMorris. And it's like, guys, when they said it, it didn't pass the sniff test. And hearing this, it's like it really didn't pass the sniff test.
Yeah. If he winds up off the 53, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Well, and I've turned my record around. Jordan Colbert was on the show too. So just so you guys know, like we're doing better. We're doing better. It's not a curse to come on the show, I promise.
No, it seems like you're on the plus side of the ledger there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel, obviously he's, let's just say it, he's probably on the hot seat this year. I don't think there's any way. First off, I hate that term because I think almost every coach is on the hot seat every year, unless you're Mike Tomlin, unless you're Reed, unless you're someone of that ilk. I think every coach, like no coach is going to survive a 3-win season. You're gone. So, I mean, he's on the hot seat, but every coach is, so is what it is. But we've heard about the change in the culture and holding people accountable. And some of the guys that might have been not accountable last year and causing trouble are gone. It seems like people can read between the lines of who's not here anymore.
Ramsey. Sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Ramsey.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think maybe Holland on that list too. I don't know. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah. Do things seem like not the same this year in camp? Is there a different tone? Is there a different feel? Is there a different vibe? Or is it just pretty much just like it's been in years past? Because I know there's been some things where some of the guys are staying after running and doing up downs and sprints, which they haven't done in years past. But I don't know if that's necessarily him or if that's just those guys taking it on themselves to do that. But does it seem any different than it has been in years past? Not really.
What answer would please you?
The truth. The truth. I want the truth.
Oh, you can't handle the truth. Sorry.
We probably can't.
I haven't really noticed anything different.
He's the same guy.
Yeah.
I
don't like behind the scenes, like Tyreek always being late or Jalen Ramsey. Like for example, forget those guys for stretching.
Yeah.
And I was there. They were never there for stretching. And I know chemistry is big in football and all that. How many wins and losses does that really get you?
Hey, you know what? Thank you. Because I've been saying this whole thing about the culture is a bunch of crap. People say, but the Heat culture. The Heat culture was Wade and LeBron. Once they're gone, goodbye. What's the Patriot way? The Patriot way was Tom Brady. Thank you. When we had on Omar, your buddy Omar, I wasn't on that interview. It was just for us. I go, ask him about culture. And Omar said, culture's real. I wanted to jump on this show midstream and be like, Omar, you're full of it. It ain't real. The culture's the players, and it's all on the players. Nobody talks about the Chiefs' culture at the end of the day. It's all about if you have talent or not. You can go out and do Pilates, play paintball, steak dinners up the yin-yang. It ain't going to make the guys friends and play harder for each other. It's got to be they got to want it themselves. And that's my rant. I'm all done. And he's wrong, Omar, too.
Mike, I'm going to give you one of these.
That's right.
And here's the other thing, too, is Jalen Ramsey, whatever we want to say about him in terms of his personality and maybe being, I want to be delicate with my words here, maybe not the most congenial team guy. When he's on the field, the dude balls out.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Plays hard. Yeah. So the fact that he's kind of difficult, other than being an aggravation for the coach and the players around him, again, and I love that you mentioned the Heat culture because I live down here in Miami and I hear it and I'm like, and I keep telling those guys, okay, where's the Heat culture when they're the 8 or 9 seed and they have to be in the play-in?
It's not real. It's not real. You have to have talent to win in any sport.
I buy into Heat culture.
Don't worry, Omar's not going to yell at you. The culture is you have talent, you win games. The Philadelphia Eagles, I think 2 years ago, there was some infighting, this, that, the other. Guess what happened last year? They had a few more players. They win the Super Bowl because they're more talented of a team at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they had the whole issue with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and all that. It's like the essence of good coaching in the NFL is basically its game plan, its adjustment, and all that. Mm-hmm. Like the holding players accountable is like
Managing egos. You got to manage your egos.
Managing egos.
Sometimes you got to smile and eat shit. Smile and eat shit from a player because I can't afford to lose this guy. Kind of what they're doing with Hill right now, honestly. Like we're going to smile and eat it because we need him.
Are we getting into that? Are we getting into Hill?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Will he be here by the end of October, or will they ship him off at the trade deadline? If the season's going bad.
Yeah, if they're out of playoff contention, then maybe, and the way the trade deadline is set up, how many teams really are out of playoff contention at that time? It would have to be really, really bad for the Dolphins to let him go.
Okay.
Because he's the best player on the team. Probably not close anymore, with all due respect to Zach Sealer. And he's the one who can make that offense really, really special.
He's the one that keeps up every opponent with fear at night. Every coordinator they face is like, this guy at any moment can just rip apart my defense on one play. So he's the one. And I guess here's the other question. If they start off 1-4, if they start off 2-6, is this just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode? And we all know it's going to happen.
Oh, with him?
Yeah.
I'd say the odds are probably a little bit on the north side of 50-50.
Okay. I mean, we're all on the same page here. I think, look, we don't need a crystal ball to figure this out. We know how this is going to play out.
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah. Again, here's the deal, though. You kind of knew what you were getting.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's a wildly, wildly talented guy, but he's a little bit, how should I put this delicately, volatile.
It's a nice way to say it.
Thank you.
It's a very nice way. That's why you're a wordsmith.
Very, very, very eloquent. By the way, someone just said you got the great Alain on the show. Thanks, Mike and Marissa.
He's been on before. We've had him on plenty of times.
Yeah, but we only have him on so he can do fun stuff like that for you to watch.
And for these next 5 questions we're going to ask him.
Emojis.
we got 5 questions we're going to ask him. It's going to be a lot of fun too. And I can't wait to hear some of his answers.
We are going to do that. Our Dolphins Talk speed round. 5 questions with Alain Poupart. Are you ready, sir?
Don't worry about the speed round thing, because I think last week we did this with the Big O, and it went like 25 minutes.
It did.
It's not really speed. Okay.
It did.
There's nothing speed about it.
It was not. It was like we were going backwards, but it's okay.
Here's what I'll do. I'll give you very quick answers, and then we'll come. If you want me to expound that, we can do that as well.
Okay, perfect. So question number 1: will a professional baseball team ever return to Montreal?
No.
You don't think so?
See, you're the reason it's not fast, Mike.
I know. I'm sorry. I got follow-ups. I think
they're lacking the capital. There's not enough big money people in Canada and then Montreal. And it's like, and for me, as obviously I'm an Expos fan, for those who were wondering about the hat, I was, born and raised, and that's the team that holds my heart like no other.
Besides the Dolphins.
No, that's a team that holds his heart. That one, and there's a hockey team. Those are his 2 teams.
I'm not, Marissa, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a Dolphins
One team gives you heart problems. The other one holds your heart.
Not even. It gives me heart problems if they're underperforming and it's hurting my business at Miami Dolphins.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
As an Expo fan, I don't want a team there if it's going to be a bare bones operation like it was before they left. Okay, because I mean the glory days of I'm going to date myself here. Late 70s, early 80s, and then 1994 when they had the best team in baseball and they were on their way to World Series. Don't say a word, Mike. Yankees.
No, you're right. It would have been Yankees Montreal that year by far, and that would have been a great World Series because those teams were loaded and ready to go head to head, and the season just went off the rails. That would have been it. And plus, people forget Montreal in that era, even like late 80s, early 90s, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Vlad Guerrero, Tim Raines, when he was still like Tim Raines, they were loaded with talent. Alou, I mean, they were loaded with players. They were like the team. It was a bad stadium. It was a lot of issues, but
Olympic Stadium was a bad stadium.
Well, it was bad compared to some of the other.
Mike, I'm joking. It was an absolute. It was a concrete toilet bowl.
Yeah,
and I was there. The one saving grace about Olympic Stadium, literally subway station would get you inside the stadium.
That's it.
I mean,
it's actually nice. Yeah,
completely amazing in terms of the convenience, but the stadium was an absolute horror show. Sorry, question number 2.
Question number 2.
Back to our Dolphins talk, slow as HE double hockey stick speed round. All right. Who has been your favorite Dolphins player to interview or cover over the years?
Mark Dixon. I will give you a quick story about Mark Dixon. If you're not familiar with him, he's an offensive lineman who Dolphins signed out of the CFL in the late 1990s by Jimmy Johnson. Mark Dixon was a guy who went to the University of Virginia, was very, very, very smart, very introspective, and would always give you fabulous answers. And the beat reporters were constantly going to him whenever they were doing big picture type of stories, to the point where one of the editors told his writer, stop quoting him, quote somebody else for one of those stories. That's how good
he was their best offensive lineman for a few years there, for a short while, because he could play left tackle, right tackle, guard. They could slide him around. And if there was a few years there, like you said, late 90s, he was their best lineman.
Yeah. And one of the favorite stories I did, my favorite stories I ever did for Dolphin Digest, I wrote for Dolphin Digest for like more than 30 years, was a profile on Mark Dixon, and him telling me that basically he was driven by fear of failure. He thought he sucked, and that's what drove him. And Jimmy Johnson, like very early on, the guy's barely coming over from the CFL, is telling him, that's my best offensive lineman.
That's crazy.
Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Can I ask you something? Just a side note on that. You said he was just like really great, what he had to say. Have you yet been able to decode Mike McDaniel's answers in press conferences?
I speak fluent Mike McDaniel.
Okay. Is there like a Rosetta Stone course you take for that, or like how does that work?
No, it's the more you listen to it, then you get it. You get it, and you figure it out. And I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I've gotten. I don't know a lot of things. I know how to read coaches and what.
There's certain words that you look for, and that's what you focus on. Because you ask him what time it is, he can tell you how to build a watch. I don't need to know all this other nonsense. There's certain words you look for and you listen to, and you hone in on that, and you have to block out just the other nonsense.
Could you imagine doing a speed round with Mike McDaniel? Oh my
gosh. We'd be here at 10 p.m.
There would be
10 p.m.
All right, next question. Over or under number of games Tua plays this year? 13. Over. All right. Are we getting into that anymore?
I'm a believer in the law of averages. I think he saw what he needed to do in 2023 to stay healthy. He has said all the right things since the end of last season. However, he kind of said the right things last year after he came back, only to go down to try to tackle the Rams linebacker at the knees after throwing a pick. And then said the right things after that, only to basically scramble out of the pocket against Houston instead of just dumping it off to Jonnu Smith, who was wide open in the flat. So the fact that he said all the right things now maybe doesn't mean a whole lot once, the adrenaline is flowing during a game. But I get the feeling, and if they're not doing it, they should be doing it. Darrell Bevel, Frank Smith, Bobby Slowick, Mike McDaniel, probably every day. Tua, get rid of the ball. 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 Do not put yourself in harm's way.
Slide, throw it away, or get out of bounds.
And are you seeing him do that in camp?
Well, in camp, he can't be touched, so it's a little different.
No, and that's the problem. But you can build a habit. You can build that.
Well, I'm saying,
reflex. But no, I know he's not done that.
Okay, fair enough. A little bit of pop culture here, kind of, sort of. And I'm curious to see your answer to this too, because I have a very strong opinion about this. Best season of White Lotus, 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, and then you hit my wheelhouse here, because my wife and I love that show.
There was a phone call a few months back where it was me, Alain, and his one daughter. We were on a call for like 10 minutes talking White Lotus on a like random Wednesday night.
My dad and I do, and we all have very strong opinions, so I'm ready to hear yours.
I think I'm going to go with season 2.
Yes, that is my answer too. Yes, good way to go. Mike, you don't look like you're 2.
No, 2's good. I'm more of a season 1 because I like that season 1 so much.
Okay.
Look, they're all good. I'll say that. This
season
last
3
year
was not good to me.
3 was okay. There was just that one aspect of the incest that creeped me out a little bit.
Oh, that would.
Um,
That makes me
That's
feel
what me and I
very,
were talking about.
that's
makes
what I
me
said. I
feel
go, I
very
like the season.
uncomfortable.
The incest thing just makes me very uncomfortable to see,
Mhm.
and the dream sequences, the whole thing. That was a little weird. But so that's why it's not 3. 1 and 2, it is a toss of the coin. I liked them both. I would lean 1, but I can't be upset with 2. I love the show. I think it's great. It's fantastic. But yeah, no, Alan.
My only problem with 1 was like the unveiling of who dies, because that's basically the premise of the show. For those who
Yeah.
haven't seen it, is there's the revelation that somebody died at the resort where the whole season takes place. To me, the unveiling of season 1 was like, whatever. And
Yeah.
to me, I thought number 2 was like a little more elaborate, a little more interesting.
Well, no, not for nothing. I mean, Aubrey Plaza is like, I mean, love her.
Yeah,
She's funky. You ever seen her and like do interviews?
I
that's
have
Yeah.
to.
Oh,
Weird
she's
puppy.
hilarious.
You're right there.
She's
Yeah.
like a character actress, right? Like, I mean, in Parks and Rec, she kind of played the same. She always plays like the same kind of.
She played that one movie with Robert De Niro, Old Grandpa or something like that, whatever it was. She was fantastic in that movie. It was so funny.
Yeah, she's pretty great. All right, so we all agree season 2. Look at us jiving and gelling over here. Okay, last question. This is going to be really difficult. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
I know.
Well,
Get
that's
your
even-
stat sheets out.
No, not predictions. I don't like predictions.
Oh,
Question
that's not
number
prediction.
5.
Not a prediction.
Favorite late night snack.
Hold on. You told me to take out my pen here. Let me do the calculations. Hold on. I don't snack.
You don't snack?
No. I'm trying to be a good boy and kind of watch and no, I can't.
If you were gonna snack, if you weren't gonna be
Oh,
good.
if I were gonna snack, cookies maybe probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's like nuts maybe usually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very boring answer. I apologize.
Oh.
That's okay.
Don't worry. I have one extra question here as a bonus because I know you recently went to Japan. How was it? Was it a lot of fun? Is it someplace you've always wanted to go? Which I would take as yes, because you went there. What was it like? You were there for what, like a few weeks, I think, right?
18 days.
18 days. Well, that's a lot.
Oh, no, I don't know how much time we have because I could talk
Go
about
for it. Just go. We got all time in the world. I don't care.
Loved it. So here's the thing, like a few years back we decided, okay, we're going to do a big blow up trip every summer before training camp starts, and we did cruises years past. This year we were kind of, and this is a negotiation between my wife and I, and usually it's like whatever you want to do, honey. This time
Happy
we were
life,
like,
happy life.
well, yeah. But we couldn't like necessarily agree on where we wanted. I wanted to do Northern Europe. We did, which we kind of did a little bit last year, including Iceland, Norway, with 2 places I highly recommend. This year it was like, oh, I kind of wanted to do that. She was kind of intrigued by Turkey, and I'm like, but
Is it safe? Is it
Bingo.
safe in Turkey?
bingo.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the part that wasn't necessarily I was crazy about. So we did, as a compromise, we go, let's go to Japan. And my only reserve, I'd always been intrigued by Japan. The only thing is, that flight. But it was
It's
like
a long flight.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, am I going to never go to Japan because I don't want to deal with the flight? We'll deal with it. And my wife has a coworker who lived in Japan for 4 years, gave us some advice, some suggestions, and including the most interesting piece of advice beforehand, which was very weird to me. And I found out, this guy was on the money. He was you will love 7-Eleven in Japan. I'm like,
Really?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word.
Go. Say anything you want.
It's ass. My God. I don't know if you guys like sushi. If you ever have it at
I'm
hand,
not a fan.
you're not a fan?
No, I'm not a fan of
Marissa,
sushi.
you?
Sushi?
Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite thing. I could eat it every day.
Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. So if you ever had a hand roll, they have like triangular rolls, like with the seaweed, rice, and then whatever you have inside. They have variations: tuna mayonnaise, shrimp mayonnaise, grilled salmon roll, like a whole bunch of different varieties. At the 7-Eleven, it's
At
like
7-Eleven?
At 7-Eleven, it's like $1.10. I would challenge you to find me anything better in a restaurant here. It was
That's
outrageous.
insane.
And then one time I tried this dish. Okay, it was like, was it rice, chicken, au gratin or whatever? I'm like, let's try it. It's supposed to be something that's good. And I'm like, again, it's like some gourmet stuff there. I was blown away. Okay, so that's a little part of Japan. So, and then you have this insanely fabulous combination of architecture, like the building, very old, like some new wave stuff, and then you have like the shrines, the temples that look very cool. And if you like nature, mountains, lakes, and all that, we went to a monkey park, a deer park, and when they say that it's a deer park, you might see some deer, like as in you can't turn around without having a deer walking next to you. It's insanely clean, despite the fact that you good luck finding a garbage can.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Like people have been programmed and they do not litter. People are very nice. It's extremely clean.
So just like South Florida.
The weather was just like South Florida. That's the only thing. And again, this is when I can take my big vacation. So I don't have a choice in that. The weather was pretty much like South Florida. So it was tough a little bit. But I do want to go back in the spring or the fall, and then we're going to avoid the summer again, but I cannot recommend it highly enough.
Yeah, I haven't been, but I know a few people who have, and they loved it. They said it's amazing. It's a great place to go. So yeah, and I saw you were there, and I was just wondering how you liked it, which sounds like you had a fantastic time. But the 7-Eleven thing blows my mind, because here's 7-Eleven. I won't eat a hot dog off a roller.
There is a meme. There is a meme on the internet. It's Joe Pesci superimposed outside of a 7-Eleven, and he goes, "Your reaction when you go to 7-Eleven in the U.S. after going to one in Japan?" And he's like, it's classic Joe Pesci going, "What the F is this S?" I mean, it's true.
Although I have to say, the Coke ices at 7-Eleven are next level, and you have to give them credit. I don't know if you're a fan of those. The Coke
I've never had them.
You mean the Slurpee?
Yes, the Coke Slurpee. Yes.
Oh, the Coke Slurpee?
I haven't had that in a long time.
Oh my!
And that's just a Coke with a lot of ice, essentially.
It's like, are you serious? They have the machine where you pull it and. Oh man, they don't have them here where I live, but man, when I used to be my mom would take us every weekend to go get a Coke, little slushy, Slurpee, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Mike, live a little.
I might have to try one. I might have to get out and try one.
They used to have Einstein Brothers bagels.
Oh,
used to have, but there was only one store in South Florida. It was the one in South Beach. Had like a smoothie type coffee drink in the morning, and it was I'm a coffee like I'm like
yeah.
That's how I am with Diet Coke.
It was so good, but they've discontinued it.
Yeah. Well, this was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about Dolphins, learned a lot about Japan, Montreal baseball, and White Lotus. So we
cover it all at Dolphins
and
Talk.
Also,
I mean, don't put us in a box.
Yeah, and I also found someone to agree with me that the culture thing is a bunch of malarkey at the end of the day. Just get good players and win games, which I love that. See, me and Alan do see a lot of things eye to eye. With that, with the starting quarterback, we're very much in sync on a lot of things here.
How do I get in the group? I want to be eye to eye.
Listen and learn. Listen and learn, Grasshopper.
Young Padawan.
Yeah. But everyone, check out Alan's work at si.com/NFL/Dolphins, the All Dolphins podcast, wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, and of course the Dolphins Collective with my boy Dudley Durong, who we love very much. TD, who he does make me laugh. I know people don't like him. Look, it's just a football opinion at the end of the day. Lighten up, folks. He does make me laugh a little bit. And, of course, Omar Kelly as well. So that's always a great show. And follow him on social media at Poupart NFL. Alan, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll have you on again for sure down the road. Hopefully we'll have a good season this year. I don't know. I'm sure I'll see you in October when I'm down there for the Chargers game. And thank you for coming on.
Of course. Anytime.
Yes,
I enjoyed this.
I wish I could do the hearts, but thank you.
We'll have to turn on that feature, Marissa, next time.
Back at you. Right back at you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow night.